Only a fool learns from his own mistakes. The wise man learns from the mistakes of others. History is simply a piece of paper covered with print. The main thing is to make history, not to write it. A bad plan that is well executed will yield much better results than a good plan that is poorly executed. When you want to fool the world, tell the truth. Fools learn from experience. I prefer to learn from the experience of others. Never fight with Russian. On your every stratagem they answer unpredictable stupidity. With bad laws and good civil servants it's still possible to govern. But with bad civil servants even the best laws can't help. God has a special providence for fools, drunks, and the United States of America. Be polite. Write diplomatically. Even in a declaration of war, one observes the rules of politeness. The Balkans aren't worth the life of a single Pomeranian grenadier. You can't destroy the Polish national consciousness or Poles on the battlefield, but if you give them power, they will destroy themselves. It is the destiny of the weak to be devoured by the strong. Preventive war is like committing suicide out of fear of death. What we learn from history is that no one learns from history. Great men have great dogs. Life is like being at the dentist. You always think the worst is still to come, and it is over already. Politics is the art of the possible, the attainable, the art of the next best. The statesman's task is to hear God's footsteps marching through history, and to try and catch on to his coattails as he marches past. Politics are not a science based on logic. They are the capacity of always choosing at each instant, in constantly changing situations, the least harmful, the most useful. People never lie so much as before an election, during a war, or after a hunt. Fools you are who say you like to learn from your mistakes. I prefer to learn from the mistakes of others, and avoid the cost of my own. Vanity is a mortgage that must be deducted from the value of a man. We live in a wondrous time in which the strong is weak because of his moral scruples and the weak grows strong because of his audacity. This policy cannot succeed through speeches and shooting matches and songs. It can only be carried out through blood and iron. Laws are like sausages. It is better not to see them being made. The Americans are a very lucky people. They're bordered to the north and south by weak neighbors, and to the east and west by fish. A Bavarian is halfway between an Austrian and a human being. A conquering army on the border will not be stopped by eloquence. Anyone who has ever looked into the glazed eyes of a soldier dying on the battlefield will think hard before starting a war. No civilization other than that which is Christian is worth, say, eking or possessing. I have only one ambition left. I should like to have a good epitaph. A little caution outflanks a large cavalry. A really great man is known by 3 signs: generosity in the design, humanity in the execution, moderation in success. Beware of sentimental alliances where the consciousness of good deeds is the only compensation for noble sacrifices. The secret of politics: make a good treaty with Russia. Love is blind. Friendship tries not to notice. The luxury of one's own opinion. The main thing is to make history, not to write it. He who has his thumb on the purse has the power. Life has taught me to forgive much, but to seek forgiveness still more. God always looks after the fools in the United States. Better pointed bullets than pointed words. Politics is not a science, as the professors are apt to suppose. It is an art. My subject is my life, and my life is my subject. I have never lived on principles. When I have had to act, I never first asked myself on what principles I was going to act, but I went at it and did what I thought fit. I have often reproached myself for my want of principle. Politics is no exact science. The less people know about how sausages and laws are made, the better they'll sleep at night. Show me an objective worthy of war and I will go along with you. I have wished to crush Rome that I might crush Christianity. Hounds follow those who feed them. All treaties between great states cease to be binding when they come in conflict with the struggle for existence. Our German forefathers had a very kind religion. They believed that, after death, they would meet again all the good dogs that had been their companions in life. I wish I could believe that too. A government must not waver once it has chosen its course. It must not look to the left or right but go forward. You can do anything with children if you only play with them. The nation that has the schools has the future. Earthly majesty is always akin to the fallen angel, who is proud and unhappy, beautiful but troubled, and whose plans and efforts, though vast, are denied access. We Germans fear God, but nothing else in the world. People never lie so much as after a hunt, during a war or before an election. The Catholic priest, from the moment he becomes a priest, is a sworn officer of the Pope. I have often regretted what I have eaten, but never what I have drunk. Laws are like medicine. They generally cure an evil by a lesser or a passing evil. Not by speeches and votes of the majority are the great questions of the time decided. That was the error of 1848 and 1849, but by iron and blood. A generation that has taken a beating is always followed by a generation that deals one. The most significant event of the 20th century will be the fact that the North Americans speak English. People who love sausage and people who believe in justice should never watch either of them being made. Revolutions in Prussia are started by kings, and since it is a revolution, it is better to start it ourselves than to suffer of it. You can do everything with bayonets, but you are not able to sit on them. I am accustomed to pay men back in their own coin. There is only one greater folly than that of the fool who says in his heart there is no God, and that is the folly of the people that says with its head that it does not know whether there is a God or not. We are better off not knowing how sausages and laws are made. I have always found the word Europe on the lips of those who wanted something from others which they dared not demand in their own names. One can put some trust in the gratitude of a sovereign, and also in that of his family. Under certain conditions, one can even rely upon it, but one can never expect anything from the gratitude of a nation. War should only be used for a policy worth its sacrifices. I have found that nothing so deceives your adversaries as telling them the truth. Politics ruins the character. Nothing should be left to an invaded people except their eyes for weeping. I am bored. The great things are done. The German Reich is made. Universal suffrage is the government of a house by its nursery. In England, the more horses a nobleman has, the more popular he is. So long as the English are devoted to racing, socialism has no chance with you. Not even the king himself has the right to subordinate the interests of his country to his own feelings of love or hatred towards strangers. He is, however, responsible towards God and not to me if he do. So, and therefore on this point I am silent. I consider even a victorious war as an evil, from which statesmanship must endeavor to spare nations. That which is imposing here on earth has always something of the quality of the fallen angel who is beautiful but without peace, great in his conceptions and exertions but without success, proud and lonely. I must protest that I would never seek foreign conflicts just to go over domestic difficulties. That would be frivolous. I was speaking of conflicts that we could not avoid, even though we do not seek them. There are two things civilized man should never see being made: sausages and laws. To retain respect for sausages and laws, one must not watch them in the making. Faust complained about having two souls in his breast, but I harbor a whole crowd of them and they quarrel. It is like being in a republic. Let us put Germany, so to speak, in the saddle. You will see that she can ride. Physicians still retain something of their priestly origin. They would gladly do what they forbid.